Hi, I'm Susan Nicholas and I want to welcome you back. So today we're going to talk about how to manage any money situation that you're in from an emotional standpoint, from a more conscious standpoint, so we don't continually fall into cycles of self-sabotage where we put out our money request, but then when there's a critical money situation in our lives, we crumble and we feel that we do not trust in the energy of money, that we do not trust in ourselves, and we fall back into old patterns of thinking and behavior. So one of the more difficult things that we deal with when it comes to money is the timing of it. And sometimes the amount of it. We ask for something, we ask for a number, we ask for something maybe that's larger or more than we've ever asked for before. And we're a bit afraid that we're not going to get it, that it's not going to show up in time. And as that deadline approaches, we become more and more afraid, and we go more and more into this internal dialogue of doubt that this isn't going to work, that the universe is going to let me down, that there is no such thing as the energy of money, that this type of conscious work isn't real. Well, all of those thoughts are normal, particularly as you are beginning to learn the language of money, as you're beginning to raise your vibrational frequency. But every situation that you incur in life is designed to teach you a lesson. It's designed for you to grow interpersonally, for you to grow spiritually. And so when something doesn't show up in the right timing in the third dimension, there is something called perfect timing. And this requires your utmost trust in the universe. And trusting in the universe is trusting in yourself, as you are the embodiment of this universe, and that you are stronger than any situation put before you. And so anytime you're coming to a critical money situation, it could be when the rent is due, it could be when there's an obligation due, when there's a bill to be paid, when there's something, a mortgage, whatever it is, something where there's a deadline on it and you have fear in you that perhaps the money isn't going to show up. This is where this exercise comes into play. Okay, first what we need to do is to remember that it's a normal feeling. When you have fear about not making a critical money situation where you're not going to have enough, for example, at a certain time, you're not going to be able to pay someone as you promised, or whatever it is, meet an obligation, it's normal for us to have this fear that it's not going to happen because we are remembering a past situation, perhaps when we were not as mature in our spiritual development, when the money didn't show up. And so it's easy for us to fall back in patterns and cycles. But I encourage you to really look into this work to raise your vibrational frequency. So number one, that you never have to worry about money. And then number two, that we can see these situations, these critical money situations, as challenges to elevate our vibrational frequencies, as really as opportunities to increase our vibrational frequency by not giving up on ourselves, by not feeling and not sabotaging ourselves or feeling unworthy or in disbelief or untrusting in this universal energy. So one thing that I like to do is when I'm really expanding myself, I'm going out of my current, if you will, sphere of expansion where I'm normally existing, where these are my expenses and these are my desires, or these are my obligations, is I realize that there's a ring, like there's a vibrational ring of expansion. And for me to elevate myself outside of my current comfort zone, I must raise my vibrational frequency. And raising my vibrational frequency may look like trusting in myself implicitly, trusting in the universe, trusting in the idea of perfect timing, trusting that everything, no matter what I am seeing, is in my highest good, even if I don't understand it at the moment. Sometimes it's challenging me to stand and to show up in times of difficulty. It's having me show up in times where I normally will have hidden in shame or avoided the situation, to show up in a place of strength and of confidence, that I know that this is coming, and yet there's this divine or perfect timing that is also in play. And trust me, I've gone back and forth thinking, well, how is it in perfect timing if the rent's due and it's not showing up in time of the rent, or this is due and the money's not showing up in time or the right amount? How can this be my highest good? I'm telling you, there is always a lesson. There's always a pearl in it. And if we begin to look at life as cycles and patterns that we are overcoming, that we're trying to raise our frequency, trying to elevate ourselves, to expand our comfort zone, to elevate our frequency beyond our current circumstance, then we begin to understand that trust is a huge part of it. And trust in yourself is a huge part of this expansion of self, this elevation of your vibrational frequency. So the way that I like to think about it is when I'm at that deadline and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, if this doesn't happen tomorrow, then what will happen? As I think about what is the worst case scenario? What is the worst case scenario? And mostly it's that I will have to delay my obligation. Maybe the rent is due on the 1st, but I don't get to pay it till the 3rd, something like that. Or the 5th, or I've got to make a negotiation. But I come from a place of confidence and strength. And it's really a challenge of my own inner self, because we want to react and we want to crumble and we want to fall under the pressure. But really, these are all man-made, human-designed barriers and pressures and limits and timelines and deadlines. We all put these in place, and it's not always congruent with this universal order of things. And that's something that is very difficult for us to understand and comprehend, because usually when we need money, we need it now. We don't need it when the universe thinks it's perfect timing, because we don't understand that universal order. We've never learned or been conditioned from a societal standpoint, from a financial standpoint, to say, oh my gosh, there's something about perfect timing that is not in the current equation of how things are due. And we've noticed that it's funny when money isn't flowing, but the obligations still pile up, that there's an imbalance, that we're not all on the same page, where we all are connected. And if money is flowing at a certain rate, at a certain level, then our obligations need to match that and not outpace them. And when that happens, that's when that rub happens, where we have this very deep discomfort and this very deep pain, often associated with our financial situations. And so in those situations, I remember a few things. I remember who I am, that I am completely worthy and capable, that I'm confident in the ability to meet this financial obligation, that we are not given more than we can handle, and that if there's an opportunity that you are now committed to, then there is a way for that money to come through. There is a way, and it may just be outside of your awareness, outside of the vibration that you're currently vibrating at. And what we need to do is we need to trust in the universe and this energy of money, that the energy of money request is out there and it stays out there. The request is there. We don't self-sabotage the request or delay our request. So the first thing I say is the request still stands with the energy of money. And then I go into this idea of how is it that I can expand my thinking, my beliefs, my heart, my joy, to say, all right, how can this show up for me? There are about 3 ways that I can think of this coming through, but my gosh, what about those 3 things are even better? I tell myself, it's going to be 1, 2, or 3 things. I'm going to get the deposit on time. Something will happen right on time, And if it's something that I can't think of, I leave it to the universe that there's something even better or something even better. And so I begin sometimes to breathe into that. If I start to feel the fear coming up, which is natural again, it's always natural for our physical body to feel fear when we're uncomfortable, when there's an unknown. But you don't have to let that rule you and take over and the mind chatter that comes with the fear. Instead, we can acknowledge that, a part of me is fearful. A little part of me is afraid that I'm not going to be able to make my obligation in time. Acknowledge that. That is normal. But then once I feel that in my heart, in my gut, wherever you feel your pain, wherever you feel the fear, and begin breathing through it. And breathing through it, almost as if your breath comes in and comes out of the area that has the discomfort, until that discomfort dissipates and you are left with a sense of calm. You see, we never have to worry about money. We've been conditioned to worry, that worry sometimes motivates us or makes us feel like we're doing something. I remember that I used to believe that if I didn't worry, I was being irresponsible, that I wasn't doing everything that I could possibly do to make sure I could make my financial obligations. But I'm telling you, worrying just makes that journey ever more painful and difficult for you, because that deadline is going to show up. You're going to come to it. You're going to pass it. And either you can go into that deadline with a sense of calm, of confidence that there is a way, even if it is not in your current repertoire, your current purview, your current knowledge. There is a way, that there's a magnificent universe out there to serve you, that it's looking to serve you in the way that it's your highest good. And so I look at that opportunity as saying, okay, it's going to be how I can expect it, or what I'm expecting, or something even better, that the universe has the power, has the capacity to show me exactly what I need, or even better than what I can imagine. And let the universe show you opportunities, people, circumstances, surprises. Sometimes I say, I'm going to let the universe surprise me on how it's going to serve me, and allow it to be in that energy that anything at all is possible, that there is no order of difficulty in creation, no order of difficulty. Not if you need $100, not if you need $25,000, not if you need $1 million. It's not about the number. There is no order of difficulty in creation. It is about you elevating your vibrational frequency and trusting in the omnipotence of the universe. Thank you.